Okay. All right. So, Arden Meyer, nobody actually cares who I am, but that's why I don't have a bio slide. But real quick, I am retired military. I'm a senior cyber operator, basically what Nate hopes to be in another 15 years. Okay. Anyhow, and I've just discovered that using this laptop is kind of dorking with my slides. But hey, these slides are straight from Tool. 3 O's, the open organization of lockpickers. Go out to tool.us. You can download these slides, plus more, because I kind of weeded out some that I didn't want in this slide deck. But so today we're going to go over just the basics, the fundamentals of lockpicking. So first off, yes, we do have rules. Pick all the things is not the rules. Most importantly, do not pick somebody else's locks. I'm not here to make criminals. I'm not here to teach you how to be bad guys. The goal here is to educate you so that you can secure your own stuff, secure your company's stuff. Do not pick somebody else's locks. Also, don't pick your own locks if you actually depend upon them. Don't go home and try to pick the lock on your front door and break off a pick, and now you have an unsecured front door. I hear lots of giggles. I wish I was giggling, but we all know it has happened. Okay, so basically there's 3 different kinds of lock opening. There's lock picking. That's what we're going to do here. That's what I'm going to teach you a little bit of. There is the quick and dirty. That's what criminals do, whether that's a fast bypass or just a heavy boot to the door. And then there's covert high tech. That's what our spies are going to do. Guess what? I'm not going to provide you anything on that last one. Lockpicking, that's what Tool provides the knowledge. We're going to provide some means. We have practice locks. We have picks. The quick and dirty, I can explain some of, and Tool promotes that, the education, but Tool does not provide any means. Will not provide you with any tools to Lloyd or otherwise bypass a lock. And then the covert and high tech, if anybody has war stories, a great sense of imagination, you want to talk, I'll sit there and smile and nod, but I'm not going to provide even any information on those sort of things. Okay, so again, lockpicking is very easy. Some of you probably by the end of this 20-minute presentation or so will probably, you won't sleep very well tonight. Doorknobs, padlocks, deadbolts, guess what? They're all the same on the inside. The mechanism is the same. Here we go. So this is what a lock kind of looks like on the inside. This is a single pin from the end. We have a spring at the top, the retention spring. We have a driver pin, and then we have the retention, the lock pin. So the way that this is functioning is, as you can see right here, that's going to bind whenever you try to rotate. When you put your key in, let's see, this is the animation. I love these slides. I do have to give credit. Deviant created these slides for Tool. They're not mine, which is also one of the reasons that I can just throw them up here without me having to get somebody to clear my slides. But anyhow, so that's what it looks like without a key. When we put a key in, the key naturally lifts it. The correct key will lift the driver pin up right to the shear line, and you can rotate the bolt. Now your pin stacks, this is your typical door, your typical lock will have 5 pins. Some will have, some of the padlocks that you have are 4-pin padlocks. A few of you might have a 6-pin deadbolt on your house, probably do at work. Some of you, like Nate's place, those of us that work in secure government facilities, you might actually have a 7 or 8-pin. It's just a few more pins to lift, really. But as you can see, the red pins there, the driver pins, they are different heights. That has to do with the different bitting on your key. So whenever we put a key in, and again, lovely animations, they all end up right at the shear line, and you can rotate that key. So, using lock picks, now we've all seen Hollywood where they walk up, and he pulls out a pick. One little thing here, Jimmy jiggle, 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 and the door unlocks. Yeah, thanks Hollywood, crock of shit. So on each of the desks here and on the bigger desk, I guess, outside, I've left 2 practice locks, a padlock, two tension tools and 2 different picks. So everybody can practice right now, and we'll practice some more afterwards. So this little one here that looks like an L, that is your tension tool. So you will use this to apply gentle pressure as you then take your pick, and as the animation is showing you, you will go in, you will find which pin is bound, you will lift it up to the shear line, and then move on to the next pin that's bound. And here we should have, so why is lockpicking possible? We'll get back to a little bit on that previous sort of animation. So if this were a perfect world, this is what your lock would look like, and people trying to pick locks would just be screwed. However, so and by a perfect lock, I mean all 5 of those holes are perfectly in line. They're all perfectly milled. All of the pins are perfectly milled. No scratches, no defects. However, due to just the reality of milling, the reality of manufacturing, this is what locks actually look like. Your more expensive locks, they will change out their tools more often. They'll be closer to spec, but they'll still, even the multiple $1,000 Medico locks, they're not perfect. And here's some of the pins that have got little bits of dings in them. This is why we can pick locks. So now this animation may be slightly exaggerated, but even from the back row, you can tell that those 5 cylinders are not in a straight line. So one of the pins is bound first. So we'll go in, and you can see by our animation, this pin here is bound first. Well, we'll put a little tension on there. We'll go in and we'll lift, and we'll find that the first pin, the second pin, the third pin, none of them are bound. They're still moving up and down just as easy as they did before any pressure, before any tension. Then we get that 4th pin, and that takes a little bit more. That's our bound pin. We'll lift it up until we feel just the slightest little bit of rotation. Then we'll push on back, and we'll start with the other 4 pins, the ones that remain. Wash, rinse, repeat, and eventually we'll get all 5 of these pins lifted up above the shear line, and we can rotate the bolt, rotate the cylinder. And I think we've all got to get the idea where this is going. We don't need to wait for the animation to finish. Now, word of caution, be careful that you don't overlift, because just as the pins that are blue in the animation, just as they can bind and block that cylinder from rotating, so can the driver pins. So if you lift up too far, okay, I know it's the 5th pin, so I guess we have to get the 3rd one. Now we'll go back and we'll lift that 5th one. If you lift it too far, that driver pin will bind just as effectively as the head pin will. So be careful of overlifting. You'll get a feel for it. I've done it many a time, and it makes you very mad when you overlift the next to last pin, and you've been fighting on a very difficult lock and you screwed yourself. What do we have? So in addition to the normal pins, the normal picks, we also have different types called raking picks. There are diamond picks. Again, each desk should have a normal pick plus one other, whether it's a rake or a diamond. So here's an example of raking tools. So a rake is kind of a speed tool. You just go in there very quick. It'll leave a lot of forensic evidence, but gets you through the lock a lot faster. The half diamond comes in very handy, especially when you first encounter a lock that you don't know what it is. I mean, if you step up to a Quickset or a Schlage, I know what that is. But if I see a challenge lock, I don't know what it is. The half diamond comes in very handy because first I want to know, I need to do some intel. I need to know how many pins are actually even in that lock. So here, the slides are a little out of order here. First, it's showing that you can lift with the half diamond. You can actually do some raking with the half diamond. But here's what I mainly use. This is what I most frequently use the half diamond for, is actually turn it upside down. Stick it all the way in, lift, and retract. And you can count your pin stacks. As they come out, you will hear click, click, click. Or if you're in a noisy environment, you'll still, as long as you haven't recently been mowing the yard or something that is jacked with your nerves, you'll actually be able to feel those little clicks as you retract the half diamond. So again, there are different types of picks. Everybody has their kind of preferences. As far as turning the cylinder or the plug, most common mistake is right here. As you can see, using the thumb to push down hard on it. By doing that, you're pushing a lot of force inward instead of straight rotating down. This is not as bad. This is using your index finger to push down, but even better is to reach further out. This is just physics. This is torque. Apply just a little bit of pressure, and it's a great picture because if you look at that finger, you can actually, the finger's still pink. If your finger is white, you're pushing way too hard. So again, here's another example of good amount of pressure. And there's the too much pressure. You can see how all the blood is coming out of his fingertip. So be careful. This is be careful not to put too much friction on it by pushing down low and pushing your turning tool into the lock itself, or causing friction down here at the bottom of the cylinder. You want it to gently be inside the plug. Which direction do you turn? Well, that depends on the lock. Most of your padlocks, 99.9% of your padlocks, they turn clockwise. As far as your deadbolts and your dead latches or your doorknobs, that depends on how it's installed. Luckily for you, all of the practice ones, you can rotate in either direction. Or, yeah, we still, I'll be a little more PC. We do still have children around. So that's a very quick version of Lockpicking 101. Looks like everybody's already kind of practicing here. Anybody have any questions? Okay, let's practice with the locks. Now they are numbered similar to what you see here. The lower the number, the easier the lock. And if anybody has just gone through the practice ones that I put on your desk and you want something a little more challenging, I do have some more challenging ones up here. Additionally, if anybody, relax. Additionally, if anybody needs or wants to purchase some picks or practice locks to take home and practice this at home, I've got those for sale as well. They're the straight off the tool website, exact same ones they have. And that's what lockpicking ultimately, if you want to get good at it, you just need to practice. Practice, practice, practice a lot. While you're sitting on your couch, watching TV, just sit there and practice picking locks. To step to the side a little bit, we'll talk a little bit real quick about tool. So Tool is the open organization of lockpickers. Like I said, I'm trying to restart that, or I've just restarted the local chapter. We'll talk not only about picking locks, but other ways of bypassing locks and other elements of physical security. If any of you guys want to come out, we'll, I guess, push on that. And we'll talk about, again, more than just picking locks. There's also how would you try to bypass a lock like this that actually doesn't have a key. There's different things like that that we'll talk about. Does anybody have any questions? I think otherwise we'll just sit and practice picking locks. Again, I'm Arden. Let me know.
Hey guys, so like Arden was saying, with his restarting the local tool chapter, SecDSM, we're very transparent around our financials, and so I wanted to talk to you guys very briefly about our a donation that we're going to be making to the local tool chapter. So SecDSM is, we recognize the importance of our physical security as it relates to our information security. And if you have access to open a door, whatever server that you have behind that door, whatever workstation is pretty much game over. So we recognize that security really doesn't exist without physical security. And as such, we want to be, we want to ensure the continual success of the local tool chapter. So today I want to announce that SecDSM is actually going to be giving a $500 donation to the local tool chapter to get them up and going. So I think it's great. Everyone give a round of applause for Arden for that continual support.
So let's pick.